currently driving through the little township of Mount Hotham, a little over 1,700 meters above sea level, so we're still up really high. Obviously, this is a town that is pumping during the snow season when the ski fields are running, but in these summer months, it's still a really nice drive. You can drive this Alpine highway straight through the middle from Omeo to Bright. It's a beautiful drive, beautiful sealed surface, and you get to see some incredible scenery through the windows. Look at that view out there, it's absolutely amazing. The really cool thing is when you get up to these parts of the country is you get above the tree line, so the view at the side here isn't blocked by trees. You just see uninterrupted views for miles and miles and miles, and it's all of these rugged, huge mountains that you're driving through. And this tarred surface, the Great Alpine Highway, it's open all year round. You should probably carry snow chains in the winter months. You can see these poles here for when the snow gets a bit heavy, but it's quite amazing. Come down from that high country and now we're chasing the Murray River right across these plains before we head out west. We're at Lake Mullewa at the moment. It's a really eerie feel here. This place was dammed up in the 1930s for irrigation and that sort of thing. All these dead trees, a lot of bird life around. It would be a really good kayaking spot, I think. Maybe good for fishing too. We've left the Victorian high country and now we're travelling westward through Victoria following the big Murray River, Australia's longest river system. We're going to follow this all the way until we get into South Australia, then start heading north into the outback. Parted ways with the Murray River for a little while here, traipsing through the southern part of the Riverina, I suppose, back in New South Wales. And we're heading towards South Australia still. The landscape has changed dramatically. And this journey, as you're watching the landscape change around you, just shows you how big and how varied and how special Australia is. When you're planning a trip like this, looking at maps and seeing where you're going to go, you could be excused for thinking that there's probably not a lot of stuff out here to see, just one road, big barren country and a lot of time behind the wheel. I'm in a little township called Eyre at the moment and it's full of history and it's a really nice looking little town. This is the old copper mine on the outskirts and you can see the old buildings dotted around, a lot of preserved history here and a lot of things to see. This is the 2019 Jeep Jl Wrangler, which is new to Australia. This is the unlimited model, so that's a long wheelbase, 5 doors, bit more room inside. And it's the overland spec, so that's not the hardcore Rubicon with 4-to-1 transfer case, lockers, all-terrains and disconnecting sway bars. This is more about a nicer interior, 18-inch wheels, more highway-oriented rubber. So it probably suits something more like a long road trip a little bit better. Powered by a 3.6 litre petrol V6 that makes 212 kilowatts and 347 newton meters. Runs through a new 8-speed gearbox, and behind that is a lever operated transfer case, proper low range, part-time 4-wheel drive. And like the old Wrangler, it's still live axles at each end with coil springs. It's an all new design, this Wrangler, but a lot hasn't changed. It still looks and feels like a Jeep Wrangler. From day one of designing this new Wrangler, Jeep had this really cool idea called Easter eggs. It's these little funny design quirks and things that you'll find scattered throughout this thing. You're not going to find them quickly, you'll find them over time, and they're just little throwbacks, nods to the heritage of the Jeep, the old wheelies and the old flat fenders, and I think that's a really cool idea. On this long, dusty drive through some pretty arid country, it's the last place you'd expect to have a spa bath, but this is what we've got right here. This is Coward Springs. Artesian water coming up and out of the ground. This would have been used for the train back in the day and is now supporting this little wetland behind us, but you can jump in here for the very reasonable amount of $2. The water's beautifully cool as well on this hot day. Looking forward to jumping in. We made it. Here we are. This is Lake Eyre, the lowest point on the Australian mainland. In actual fact, somewhere in this huge expanse, there's a point that is 15.2 meters below sea level. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that makes it the lowest point in Australia. The lake is dry at the moment, very dry, but it does fill up periodically. Looking at it now, it is an incredible thing to see. This is a landscape like I've never seen before. It's crusty, it's salty, and there's literally nothing for as far as the eye can see. While standing here is an incredible experience, there is another way to see Lake Eyre, and it might give us a bit more perspective on just how vast this incredible landscape is. Sun's just coming up now, getting ready to jump on a plane to do a scenic flight of Lake Eyre. Tiny little airstrip in William Creek, which is pretty much just a pub and a few buildings. Travelling from Australia's highest to lowest points is an unforgettable journey. You can stick to bitumen most of the way and still experience some incredible vastness and variety that this country has. And if you've got a capable four-wheel drive, then you can head off the beaten track and travel through some unspoilt and pristine wilderness. And you'll probably have it all to yourself. Whichever way you choose to go, you won't regret this journey.